All right. What's up, guys? Reaper here, and welcome to Warframe. Game I've talked probably a little bit about. I think probably a lot of bit about at this point. I haven't really played it until now because, I mean, when you get what 2,000 hours in the game to a game, it becomes a little difficult to explain it to a general audience. Which I mean, nobody's really watching this anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. So you're probably looking at all this and already wondering what the fuck's going on. I'll try to explain something. Oh, hold on. Shut myself up on my laptop over here. Try to explain some things. If you have any questions, just put them in the chat. First, I gotta check this to build the weapons and stuff. I'm not gonna actually mess with any of this right now. I will have to spend a day at some point to just farm through some of this stuff. You think I can actually build right now or no? Probably not. Although I might be able to do two things at once. Anyway, right now I've got one singular goal. I don't expect to be doing this for. Oh my god! Wait, when did I get this? Why hasn't this been building before? Build! I've been wanting that for a long time, this weapon. I don't know why I didn't build that after having all the parts for it. So I'm just going to build that and then let that go off. So, you know, that day might be coming sooner than I thought. Anyway, that's not the point. So, what I'm looking for today is this thing called Umbra Forma. I think it might be on here. Actually, no, sorry, there might be an example of it here.
It's that time again, dreamers.
Yeah. So this thing, essentially, to kind of explain it as best I can, as simple as I can. One of the key things in this game, just trying to explain it as basic as I can. One of the key parts of this game that separates your not just bad weapons from good weapons, but really just separates weapon from being able to do, you know, piss poor damage to whatever minor enemy you're fighting. To be able to nuke them off the map is some stuff called mods. So you've got these things called mods to apply to your weapon. They'll boost certain stats. They'll give you certain effects. Like, I mean, they'll give you, like this case, this gives a status effect called viral. It also, reduces health, increases damage to health, different health types and whatnot. You know, speed over time. And then this also, your mod setup is very important to your weapons. And there's special types of mods, at least a couple special type of mods that are really, really strong, but also very costly, called Umbra mods. Don't listen to that garbage in the background. It is mine, but don't listen to that. Anyway, these are special mods. They're there for. Is it there for melees as well as there's some for the Warframe itself. These mods, so they're called Umbra mods. So they're really, really good. But as you can see, in order to install a mod, you have to have enough capacity for it on your weapon or your Warframe. And so, in order to reduce, because some of these cost like 11, as you can see, or 15 over here, which they actually probably cost 16 if I'd upgrade them fully, but regardless, because they cost so much, mod capacity, in order to increase the amount of in order to be able to add multiple high value mods onto a single weapon or a single Warframe, you would put in these things called Formas, which essentially changes the polarity. Because you can see there's a mod capacity right here. I can't hover over it, but there's a mod capacity on your the number in the top right is your mod capacity, and next to that number is the polarity of that mod. And there's certain mods that usually fit into certain polarities, and I'm not going to go over that because I kind of know now, but it's if you play the game enough, you'll eventually figure out like what kind of fits into what category. I can't really generally describe it, but regardless, that's mainly important in this case, because in order for you to get a bonus, essentially, if you equip a Forma into a slot, you reduce the mod cost of a mod that you put onto that slot that has the same polarity as the actual slot itself. So I think I don't know if I have a good example, because all these are actually modded and built and everything like that. Let me see here. Okay. Hey, this is a weapon I don't have much on. Things here. If I just remove this, I'm gonna just remove the prior rounds as well. So you can see right here, this mod slot has this polarity right here. So if I equip a mod that has the same polarity as this slot right here, in this case I was primed cryo rounds. As you can see, it went from a 15 cost mod to an 8 cost mod, allowing me to add more mods or a higher value mod into this weapon while also using less capacity. If you're wondering, if you equip, you can put other mods in here too. It doesn't have to be the same polarity. However, in this case, let me just grab a 15. Let's grab a 16 volume mod right here. I put this in the same slot. You can see it's red this time instead of green, and it increases the cost from 16 to 20. So you really want to be able to use the right slot here, or use the right polarity. I need this one. But in order for that, because like most of these for all of these normal mods, like these ones, these three, and even these ones, really, they're special. Like these ones are different, but I have a good example. I think I showed it before in this weapon right here. These are specific. These are whole different things. They're specific to certain weapons, but either way, like those still use the same polarities. Like see this one's what's this, Madurai, and these can be changed and whatnot through these formas. However, in order to change, as you can see, I need to build these. Oh, this is beautiful. I need to build those immediately. But if you can see at the bottom of there, Umbra polarity is not included. So these Umbra mods right here are a special polarity unto themselves, and they're not part of what these can grant you, and as according to this, aren't part of what these can grant you either. So you can only get that, you can only reduce the cost of those mods and get that polarity by grabbing these types of formas, and they're very rare. So you saw before, I showed one. This is in the battle pass, which I constantly forget is a battle pass, but it actually is. I love this game. It's very late into the pass, which I mean it doesn't really matter too much. But there's also one that shows up in this one seller's shop. Guy named Tension. Go over to Conclave real quick. Let's visit this guy.
We were led astray. We forgot the Conclave. So when that new
Yeah, nobody cares with nobody cares with the Conclave, bro. No one cares. Okay, maybe some people care. There's a Discord server for that. I've been told, but most people don't care. Either way, we care about Steel Path honors right here. To every 14 weeks, there's some of the items in his shop change. And in this case, this week, there is this Umbra Forma blueprint. I'm very close to it, so it's not gonna be a long stream, by the way, if you're wondering. But I want this because they're very rare. So, and I keep forgetting to farm for it, and since I don't play this game as often as I do usually, I need to actually farm a little bit out for it to grab it. So, that's what we're doing today. In order to buy stuff from his shop, we need a resource called Steel Essence. That goes from this. Essentially, this is hard. This is normal mode. This is normal mode. This is hard mode, just called the Steel Path, and that essence only comes from this hard mode. And there's an easy way of farming that from these things. So we're probably just gonna run through these, and I think it'll be enough. If not, we can run some other stuff, but I think this will be it. I'm only doing this not too much because I just don't feel like doing too much today. But I mean, hey, if the vibes are good, I might do a little bit more. I don't know. I don't expect that much. But let's just go through it. Either way, it's been 2 weeks, hasn't it? Been a long time. Not too long, but it's been a while. Hope you guys are doing all right. It's been a crazy time out there. It's just feeling it lightly, anyways. Oh, okay, I'm stuck. There you go. It's gonna be a lot of flipping and flopping and whatnot, as you can see. Not really too important right now.
There's a heavy unit approaching.
I love this game's movements so much. Actually, you know what? Nah. Instead of going over to normal stuff, let me I'm gonna go over how I actually found about this game, because I mean, you don't randomly show up again. You know, it's not many games in this. There aren't that many games you play that you log 2,000 hours into just casually. I mean, you might have one that you come back to every once in a while, and that's basically this one for me. That and Minecraft.
The tram has been rerouted. It will now draw power from your shields in order to keep moving forward.
But essentially, I'll just let them mow that down. That works. It's usually one person at least that's going to be doing all the farming or doing all the wipe. But it's going to be just wiping the field with everything. Usually it's one. Anyways, so you might be asking, actually nobody's asking this, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. So how did I find out about this game? I think I talked about it before. This is like the most
So far, so good.
like a most commonly played but little known game of all time. Like, I swear to God, this game frequently has a very dedicated player base. It's a pretty consistent player count, constantly. As constant updates and everything like that. It's not unknown, and yet people barely talk about it. Like I get shocked every time I hear people talking about it. Also, I need to put on this so I won't die. All right.
You have reached the midpoint. Disposing of these cores will be a massive
go.
blow to Ahek.
So, I actually found about this from the Switch. This game, remember, I never even knew about this game before, but I found it. I was looking at the games to the Switch. I think it was like the summer of 2018, and I was looking for different games on the Switch. I think it was the same year I found out about Dead Cells. But I played it, or I wanted to get it on my Switch because I saw it. I was like, oh, it's coming out on the Switch now. It's like, I think it was the first year it started coming out on the Switch. No, but I couldn't. It wouldn't let me buy it because I was like 16 at the time. So I was like, this game looks fun. It looks like it's something that I'd be interested in. Something that is like a niche that needed to be. It's like a niche that I wanted filled. But I couldn't. It wouldn't let me download it because I was too young.
Get ready for a tough
So
fight.
I looked it up on Steam. I found out the game was actually on
Extraction is
Steam.
close. Do not let up. The Grineer must not
And
be allowed
although at the
to
time I
recover
had
its
this like
core.
really, say really crappy laptop. I mean, it is in comparison.
Even the prosecutors are
It did me
invincible.
well for very many years, but it definitely is not a gaming laptop. It was a very base level laptop. I was like, you know what? Let me just download my laptop and see what happens. Or at least let me find it on Steam. Realized, okay, let me play this. Or okay, well, it tells you to verify your age, but of course you can always just change the date. So I did that so I could download the game and actually play it. Now, one thing to note, and you might not notice it here, but
Stay focused.
if you notice the Steam page, and just usually I think they show it in the trailers and whatnot for stuff. The game does have gore. You won't see it here because I have it turned off, which I'll get into that. But
What you have learned here will serve you well.
the game, it said it had gore, but none of this trailers and everything actually showed any of it. That was not shown in anything. I was like, maybe it's not too bad. Maybe it's in like certain places or whatnot. Maybe I kind of wrote it off until I started playing. And I started playing. Next thing you know, I cut a guy in half, and suddenly got freaking intestines on the ground. I'm like, oh god. My thing. Oh, you're too young for it. You scarred yourself. That didn't stop me from enjoying the game. Don't get me wrong. Like, one thing I will make clear is that I definitely enjoyed my time. Like, when I started playing the game, it genuinely was like, this is what I was looking for. To be fair, I didn't know what I was looking for, but like that, it felt like something I hadn't had, something I wanted to play. I was looking for looter shooter, but I didn't know, I was looking for basically a looter shooter. But I tried a bit of Destiny. I didn't have the money for Destiny. I was like, oh, you know, this looks fun still. And it was. It was genuinely fun. The only issue was the gore. Because I don't really like that very much. So, I mean, I tried my best to look past it constantly for, like, I'd say, like, the first year, at least like the first several months or so that I played the game. Because I was genuinely enjoying the game. I didn't want to stop playing, but I did. I couldn't. I didn't want to look at it too closely, so I just tried to look past it constantly. Eventually, however, I was looking through settings at some point. I don't remember why, I remember how. I was looking through settings, and all of a sudden, I see that setting where it says you can actually turn off the gore. And suddenly, my enjoyment of the game went up 10x. Because I can enjoy it without having to just look at it, but not look at it, you know? Either way, I remember for so long this was one of those games where, you know, this is kind of one of those games where you usually want a mentor or teacher to kind of walk you through the beginning part. I mean, you don't really need them, but you probably will need it. You'll need the wiki. You'll need the wiki for it.
Stay focused. There's a heavy
Like, I'd agree with you needing wikis for games. I understand that much. I do think it's worth it if you're willing to do that. Very much so. But I will say that, yeah, it's not very initially player friendly. The reason why I got through it is because I was enjoying it so much, and it's something that I wanted to play. But regardless, remember at the beginning, this just random high-level player at the time just was like, you know, they didn't even say anything. They just helped me out. They just gave me some stuff. Asked me to do some missions, taxi missions, basically. They bring you along to a high-level mission, which in the beginning game, because you need to unlock all the nodes, which is essentially different levels. Taxing you to a different node means that they just let you, like I said, they let you into their squad and then play a different level that you haven't unlocked yet so that you can play it with them. Which in the early game was good because you needed certain materials to build certain weapons. Like now, for most stuff, I got a stockpile of them. Like obviously I've been playing a long time. I've got stockpile of stuff that probably won't, unless I'm doing something very specific, which I did and actually ran out of a material. A very common material, but I ran out of material. You usually won't. But in the beginning, you definitely need them to build new weapons and new warframes and stuff. And to build new weapons and new warframes in that foundry that you saw at the beginning.
Still working on it. Continue to defend.
And so, yeah, it became very useful. And I remember another thing that happened in the beginning. Because this game actually does have voice chat in it. You can actually speak on the mic to people. People usually have that off or muted. I didn't, and it actually led me to like meet some people and talk. You know, we just joined in a squad and like everything like that, and it's just pretty cool. Played some missions, built a little thingy, or built what's it called, a clan in this game, and yeah, just really cool. Now, granted, it doesn't happen anymore, but still. Actually, you know what? Maybe give me an idea, actually. Do that later. I won't say anything yet, but I'll think about it in a bit. But... Oh, wait, hold on. This guy needs to die. Okay, I need to be careful with that, because I'm actually going to get myself killed there. Okay. Hold on. Break. So, thank God. Press the wrong button. Alright, so... But yeah, it's really cool. But for a while, I didn't because it was one of those, like I said, wasn't a very well known game, and I mean it still
Stay focused.
isn't.
There's a heavy
So it's
unit
dedicated
approaching.
player base, but it's not. I wouldn't consider it mainstream like Destiny is. Because people wouldn't think looter shooter. Their first thought is Destiny. I always hear Destiny's quoted, of course, but this game's like right behind it, and I always looked for people to play the game with. I didn't know anyone who played the game, but
The odds were against us.
I was constantly looking for people to play
but
the
we
game
did
with.
it. Mission complete.
And for a while, I didn't have that until I started looking. I said, I think I had to be careful with my details here, but my work started this esports thing, and I forgot something. I had some conversation with somebody, and found out a bunch of people. A couple people played Warframe, made their own separate channel, and started talking about it. And over time, I found different people who also played Warframe and just brought them into the fray. And yeah, just got a lot. Now I know a lot of people who still play who play the game. Now, granted, I think all of us have moved different stuff right now, but I don't know. I think it's just really cool. It's kind of like that, you know. But I don't know. I'm going off with sort of random. I don't know if I'm really telling the story properly. I gotta be a better storyteller, but I don't really have these things in mind. I don't have these things written down, so it's just it kind of just comes out. It just comes out straight facts, no build up or anything like that. Unless, I don't know. Now to be fair, never mind. I actually don't know what I was about to say there. Well, other than that, yeah, I just there's certain things I keep track of. Even though I don't play Warframe regularly, I do keep track of certain things. In this case, keeping track of the Umbra Forma and Teshin shop. Just keeping track of the rotation for that, because it's so rare, but it's such a useful material that I consider it necessary to put it on my calendar for when that comes up.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching. The enemy is broken. Well done.
I don't know.
Get to
Let's see
extraction.
what else to think about. Well, I guess the other thing I've been, I guess, is always the usual things. Working on my game and album. I don't know why every single one of these streams is just an update for the game now, I suppose. I don't really have update videos, that's why. Or update posts. And we could probably update my itch.io page. The only thing I have to say there is I'm nearly done with the last stage. And to get done with that, gotta go a couple of things, and yeah, I mean, it's coming around steadily. Not gonna make any massive promises with it right now, just saying it's coming along steadily. Trying to work on my album as well, it's coming along steadily. Been playing a lot of Xenoblade Chronicles. Frick, man, I thought that I actually think I actually got freaking addicted to that after a while, because I started playing that. I started playing that. I think I was getting the one more mission type of vibe. I started playing it like multiple. I would play it like 8 hours at night, 8 o'clock, like 7 o'clock at night. And I'd be fair, it was like a day. It was like last week, a couple of days off work, but I played it like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night, and I'm like, one more mission. I'll stop here. Next thing you know, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, oh god, what in the love of? I'm playing the wrong Warframe for this. That's fine. I'm actually just not thinking right now. I'm just kind of pressing buttons. At a certain point, you get stuff where you get set up where you just kind of do that. Not late game. I'm not in game, but I'm technically late game. Maybe mid game now, because things have changed. But either way, yeah, I've just been playing a lot of Xenoblade. I think the fun thing about Xenoblade is that it's just, well, I think I might have mentioned before, but you can punch up pretty far. They say you can punch up to level like 80s and whatnot. the interesting thing about Xenoblade, I think it's kind of to its credit in a way, of, like balance of a single player game. Because this game gives you power fantasy, certainly, but it gives you such a power fantasy that really you can just take one, like the most part, aside from efficiency stuff. I'm taking this and I'm rolling the place. I'm not wiping the floor with everyone like I would with a different Warframe, but I'm certainly doing. Like I can turn my brain off at this point. With a game like Xenoblade, you still have certain enemies that you definitely need to turn your brain back on for. And I mentioned the Ghostwalker. I think I mentioned the Ghostwalker build, which Ghostwalker, if you didn't know, was an art in Xenoblade X that essentially gives you an art called Decoy, which guarantees you a certain amount of evasions, which means you don't take damage. And because of that, you can, if you get a rotation with the cooldown reduced enough where you get reactivated constantly, you can pretty much make yourself invulnerable for an entire fight. But it only works on it only works in enemies that actually attack you slow enough or just not using multi-hit attacks enough to where you can get that rotation off and you can actually reactivate your you can reactivate your Ghostwalker fast enough to actually be able to keep up that buff. And I really felt the limitation of that last week. Oh my god. So there's an enemy in the game called I think it's Trurino, the Cataclysm. Like this massive thing called a filament. It's like a plant, like a bug plant type thing. They're generally just huge, like actually massive. Big, like you have a mech that's probably like 2-3 times bigger, like 2 maybe 3-5 times bigger than your like they say 2 to 3 times bigger than your character. These things like 5 times bigger than these things like 2 or 3 times bigger than your mech. And Trurino sits like the middle of this area with a bunch of them, and it is fucking massive. It is like 10 to 20 times the size of your player character. It is genuinely huge. It already sits in this dangerous area. But the worst part about it is that thing has a massive aggro range. Like you can be I swear to God, I was behind a rock. So it sits like this crevice surrounded by a rock on like 3/4 of its sides. I was behind it, battling an enemy on this rock walkway, and it got pissed off. And this thing is massive, like I said. It has attacks that cover that entire area. Like there's an attack that it does where it literally blows you across that entire area and into the wall and can kill you easily. I saw that thing gets pissed off so easily from everything in that area. And it's level 70. Not to mention it flies. So I mean it's good because I hate looking at it, but it flies. Makes it hard to hit, at least on the ground anyways. So my Ghostwalker build's already hard to get the melee attacks off. But the worst part, because the hard part was already hard enough trying to get to location where to actually hit the thing, or where I actually hit the thing to actually get my attacks off, get my combos off. But the worst part about it. So once again, I remind you that Ghostwalker gives you a buff called Decoy that guarantees you a certain amount of evasions. At its maximum, Decoy level 6 gives you 8 evasions guaranteed. This guy has an attack that hits 30 times.
There's a heavy unit approaching.
30 times. It burns through Ghostwalker like nothing. And it only gives you, to clarify, in the game in Xenoblade X, one of the key parts about it is that there's a couple of different, there's 3 different you have a cooldown for your arts, which are like your special skills, and then like your special abilities, and the secondary cooldown that's naturally there, as well as a tertiary cooldown that gets applied when you activate something called Overdrive. Which I don't want to go into that too much, but this makes your art, the secondary cooldown, if that goes through, makes your art stronger. Same with tertiary cooldown. So you can really only get that Ghostwalker. You can only get Decoy level 5 if you have a secondary cooldown go through for Ghostwalker. However, that thing launches. So, sorry, you get Ghostwalker level 6. You can actually get the secondary cooldown to go off, which means that you have to wait for it to come through. You can in the definitive edition, you have something called quick cooldown or quick. I forgot what it's called, like quick activate, something like that, which lets you activate an art off cooldown, just for the cost of some energy that's replenishes after a battle. So you can activate it multiple times in a row if you need to, and I do activate it out of cycle if I need to survive an attack. But you have to activate it like multiple times for it to really to survive that attack. Because Ghostwalker, if you're using the art itself, will let you evade as the art duration is, like as you're actually using the art during its animation, you'll guarantee evasions there. It won't use up your decoy buffs. However, it still doesn't cover the full duration of that 30 hit attack, which will kill you. There's multi-hit attacks in this game that can definitely like chip down. They can chip down your Ghostwalker, they can chip down your decoy buff, but it won't outright kill you if you get hit by some of them. Sure, if you get hit by all of them, it can definitely kill you. But some of them might just just damage you a little bit. I mean, for high level enemies, it's definitely a lot more dangerous. But no, it will kill you. That 30 level attack will definitely kill you. Because it's hitting so frequently, so quickly, you'll burn through Ghostwalker or you'll burn through Decoy, and then get hit by like 20 different. It's hit by like 10 different orbs because it's launching electric orbs. You get hit by 10 of them in like a second, in literally like a second or two. So you will die immediately. It is not close. So even when I got to a place where I could attack it, and I had my setup going, I have my little chain going here, that motherfucker still burned through Ghostwalker and killed me consistently because of how that stupid thing, because he's got that multi-hit attack, meaning that he's still invincible even with the setup that I've got. And to be fair, it is worth getting through him because it gives you because defeating him lets you access to an area that gives you something called, at least gives you an augment, which you can put on different weapons and armor and stuff like that. But it gives you an augment that reflects ether damage, which is really, really good. Is one of the two places you can get it. The other one you can get it comes from the most powerful enemy in the game, or I guess second most powerful enemy in the game now. So you definitely, and that enemy, by the way, mostly deals ether damage. So you definitely want that reflect attribute if you can. But he's no pushover. And he's got the aggro range of like, he's got a massive aggro range. So he's still not, so he's easily pissed off. Hard to kill, hard to target. It's just, it's very dangerous. So I had like 10 different goes at him, just trying to defeat him. At least like 5 or 6 different goes at him. That motherfucker is not. No, he wiped me every single time. Even I thought I got the setup going. I'm actually in a position where I can actually attack him or everything like that. This dude still wipes the floor with me because it just even if I have the setup going properly, that 30 hit attack just burns through my evasions and just kills me consistently every single time. It's not even close. So it's like, okay, what do I do then? I just left him alone. It's like nothing else I can do there. But regardless, even with my the infinite overdrive build, I mean, there's many ways of doing it. It's not, you don't have to do it just like Ghostwalkers are dual guns, and what is it? Without going into super depth about the game's mechanics or everything like that, you have different classes come with a melee weapon and a ranged weapon. You can, if you max out a class's progression, so all the way to like this, the way the class tree works, you get, I mean, just like a main class, alternate class, but eventually they go to like, there's like different, there's like, if you max out a class of progression all the way to the end of its tree, end of its branch, you can actually mix and match that. You can use that melee weapon, that you can use that class's melee weapon and ranged weapon, regardless of what class you're using. So if I have a class that's using an assault rifle and a longsword, and I want to use, and I have a class equipped right now that's using a sniper rifle and a javelin, I can utilize a sniper rifle and a longsword when I still have the sniper rifle javelin class equipped, or at least I have that. That's what I'm using. But I can't then go to my assault rifle longsword class and utilize a sniper rifle longsword build. You can't. You have to max out the sniper rifle javelin class first before you can do that. So the most powerful build, at least the end game, super powerful build is usually dual guns, longsword, 2 different class trees. One dual guns and dual blades. The other one's assault rifle, longsword. But either way, like even with that, it's still it was not enough. And there's multiple ways of doing it in Infinite Overdrive. But that one, it says the main one does a lot of damage, really, really consistent, very good. Yeah, it's one of the examples. It's despite how powerful it is and how much you can punch up with it. No, that guy, nope, freaking wipe me. I swear to God. So I just said screw it, and I just left. I wasn't gonna deal with that anymore. I'm like, I'm gonna get destroyed if I try this. It's not gonna be close. So screw it, not gonna do it. But I don't know. There's many different bosses like that can just completely crater. Just at least, even with like a powerful build like that, it's not enough to just you can't just I can punch up pretty far for most enemies, but there's some things that just you definitely need to build for them. It's I don't know. I think it's kind of cool, but I can't say more without having the game up. Just is what it is, I suppose. Regardless, I thought about my idea. I considered it. No, I'm not building this either. I have to farm work and sell this at some point. That's one of the things that actually does run out because it's very rare. I'm not going to do it right now. Because my voice is not there today. And my energy isn't there today. I mean, I did say it was going to be a quick stream, so I'm probably going to farm for like one thing and then go. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I know, it seems like it's a very short stream, I know. But I'm not going to keep going if not getting into it, so that I'm ending it here.
Ordis wonders, why is he here?
So, that's it for today. It's a very short stream, very quick stream. If you enjoyed yourself, do my YouTube stuff. Next week, be an actual stream next week. Be doing a game that I think I've talked about before that is very interesting and I think is going to be very useful for myself, my own purposes, just learning as well, called Nano Apostle. Finally bought it. I haven't played it yet. So if I don't spring to actually play it before then, we'll play it on stream next week. Look forward to that. Until then, this has been Ninja Reaper and I'm signing off.